Well, when Ophelia was born, I called her Phia. Most of the family did. Of course, her name was Sarah Ophelia Kiley Cannon. But when Ophelia was born, she was the youngest of 5 girls. And this was like having, these 5 girls, it was like having a live baby doll. And they would dress her up and they would wheel her around town in her baby buggy. And sometimes they would drive her around in the pony cart and show her off. They taught her how to sing and dance and play the piano, and she could do all 3 things at the same time. She said when she was little, she could remember standing at the piano, banging a tune out, and just singing at the top of her voice and dancing a little jig. So I think that the character of Minnie Pearl was really born right there at that moment. Well, after her father died, he died fairly young, and she moved back to Centerville to help her mother out. And times were really hard. Times were really hard for everybody. And Fia, I know, was very discouraged and very depressed and felt like her career was sort of at a standstill and that she didn't have much of a chance of much of a career from then on. And then in 1940, something happened that was the catalyst for her whole career. Mr. J.B. Walker, who was president of the bank, came up one afternoon where she was still teaching her recreation program and her music and dance lessons, and he said they were having a bankers meeting in Centerville, and he wanted her to get together a little program with some of her students to entertain the bankers during dinner. And she said she would. She'd be glad to. Well, he turned around and started to leave, started to go down the stairs, and he stopped and he said, you know, the main speaker for this convention is flying in from Chicago and then driving down from Nashville, and he may be a little late. And if he is, could you do that character that you did in the Lions Club show? And she said, well, sure, I can do that. So the night of the convention came and her students performed, but sure enough, the main speaker was late, so she had forgotten all about him asking her to do this and didn't even have her costume with her, but she went on anyway and did this character of Minnie Pearl for the bankers. Well, a few days after that, she got a call from WSM Radio, and Bob Turner, who was in the audience that night, had contacted somebody at the Opry, at the Grand Ole Opry, and told them about Fia and this act she had and said, y'all need to get her on the Opry. So they offered her an audition. She went up and auditioned, and they put her on one Friday night at 11 o'clock. But anyway, they invited her back, and of course the rest is history.